The HFY had conquered 17 star systems in less than a galactic standard year. Their bioships, grown rather than built, swept through space like living nightmares, all teeth, claws, and acidic breath that could melt through the strongest, alloys known to the Galactic Federation. Where they passed, entire civilizations fell silent. Admiral Zethmore of the HFY Third Fleet gazed through the organic viewing membrane of his flagship, watching the blue-green world spinning below. Earth, the locals called it. Intelligence reports indicated a primitive species that had barely achieved faster-than-light travel. They would make excellent slaves, assuming any survived the initial culling. "Begin the harvest," Zethmore commanded, his triple-jointed mandibles clicking with anticipation. The bioships descended like a plague of locusts, their living hulls rippling with excitement. The first wave struck Earth's orbital stations, expecting the usual panicked surrender transmissions that preceded every conquest. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented: coordinated resistance. Captain Sarah Chen gripped her command chair aboard the UES Defiance as railgun rounds punched through the alien vessel's flesh. "Target their neural clusters," she ordered. "If these things are alive, they've got to have a brain somewhere." Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Reeves, shook his head in amazement. "Ma'am, their hull is regenerating faster than we can damage." Then we hit them harder." Chen switched to fleet-wide communications. "All ships, this is Defiance. Implement Protocol Omega. Repeat, Protocol Omega is now in effect." Across the Sol system, every human vessel suddenly changed tactics. Instead of conventional weapons, they deployed something the HFY had never encountered: biological warfare designed by humans, for humans, against humans. Centuries of developing increasingly sophisticated ways to kill each other had taught humanity one crucial lesson: life always found a way to be destroyed. The human ships released clouds of engineered viruses, bacteria, and nanobiological agents. What should have been harmless to the HFY bioships instead began eating through their living hulls like cancer. The aliens discovered, too late, that human biological warfare was designed to adapt, evolve, and overcome any living defense. Admiral Zethmore watched in horror as his supposedly invincible fleet began dying around him. "Impossible," he hissed. "No species has ever—" "Sir," his communication officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface." The holographic image of a middle-aged human appeared. General Marcus Rodriguez, Earth Defense Command. He wore a calm expression that somehow seemed more terrifying than any threat. "To the HFY fleet," Rodriguez began, "you've made a fundamental error in judgment. You assume that because we're new to space, we're new to war. Humanity has been perfecting the art of killing for over 10,000 years. We've survived ice ages, plagues, asteroid impacts, and each other. We've turned warfare into a science." Zethmore bristled. "Your pathetic species cannot possibly—" "Let me finish." Rodriguez continued as if he hadn't been interrupted. "Your bioships are impressive. We'll give you that. But here's what you don't understand. We've been fighting biological threats since before we learned to make fire. Every disease, every parasite, every biological weapon we've ever encountered has made us stronger, more adaptable, more creative in our solutions. On cue, more human ships emerged from behind Earth's moon. Not the sleek vessels Zethmore expected, but retrofitted cargo haulers, mining ships, even civilian transports. Each one bristled with weapons that seemed crude but effective. "We also have another advantage," Rodriguez added. "You see, every species you've conquered before was peaceful when you found them. They'd moved beyond warfare, beyond the need to fight. They were civilized." His smile was sharp as a blade. "We're not." The human fleet struck with a coordination that spoke of millennia of military evolution. They used their own ships as weapons, ramming biovessels without hesitation. They deployed kinetic weapons that the HFY couldn't regenerate from, chunks of metal moving at significant fractions of light speed. They even weaponized their own orbital debris, turning space junk into shrapnel clouds. But it was the psychological warfare that truly unnerved Zethmore. The humans broadcast music during battle, something called heavy metal, and their warriors actually seemed to enjoy the fighting. Instead of fear, They displayed what could only be described as predatory excitement. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, "we've lost 60% of the fleet. Their weapons are—" An explosion rocked the flagship as human fighters, piloted by living beings, not AI, swooped past, their pilots laughing over open communication channels. "Yee-haw," one human pilot shouted. "Come on, space bugs. Is that all you've got?" Zethmore realized with growing dread that his species had encountered something unprecedented in their conquest of the galaxy, a species more aggressively destructive than themselves. The humans fought not just to survive, but because they genuinely enjoyed the challenge. "Sir," his communication officer said urgently, "the humans are offering terms." Rodriguez appeared again. "Here's our offer," he said simply. "Leave our system now, spread the word that Earth is under human protection, and we'll let enough of you live to carry the message. Refuse, and we'll demonstrate why humanity earned its reputation as the only species to actually weaponize our own planet's weather." As if summoned by his words, Earth's orbital platforms began charging what appeared to be massive magnetic field generators. Zethmore looked at his decimated fleet, then at the impossible humans who had turned their entire star system into a fortress. In less than 6 hours, they had accomplished what no other species had managed in the Krexhi's entire history of conquest. They had made the predators afraid. "Signal retreat," he commanded quietly. As the surviving Krexhi bioships limped away from Sol system, Zethmore transmitted a priority message to the High Command. Species classification: human. Threat level: apex predator. Recommendation: avoid at all costs. Behind them, Earth continued spinning peacefully in space, its deceptively tranquil appearance now carrying a warning that would echo across the galaxy. Here lived the humans. Here lived the species that had looked at an invasion force and asked, "Is that all you've got?" The Krexhi never returned. Word spread quickly through the galactic underworld. There was a new apex predator in the galaxy, and it came from a small blue world that called itself Earth.